Well, next tonight, a woman who's led a major national campaign for better protection against postal fraud says too many elderly people are still being conned, and it's why she's produced a new film to highlight the potentially devastating consequences.
Marilyn Baldwin, who's from Chesterfield, says she hopes the drama, which is based on the experiences of her late mother Jessica, will help prevent other elderly victims falling prey to the ruthless and highly organised scammers. David Hurst has more.
It's a film which pulls no punches about postal and telephone fraud.
In 2002, Jessica Luke received a scam letter.
But then Marilyn Baldwin, who's written and produced it, knows only too well the damage scams can cause.
It's bringing me a cheque. Oh, Mum. No one's coming with a cheque. Not today or any other day.
She's hoping this dramatisation, based on her mother Jessica's story, will help other elderly and vulnerable victims who slip under the radar.
Although there is a lot of help, Trading Standards are doing a marvellous job with one-to-one help, and various other agencies and organisations, the Trading Standards National Scams team, but there's still that grey area. There's still the victims that maybe have had all that help and still respond to scams.
Most of that support wasn't in place when her mother fell victim to the scammers. Duped out of more than £50,000, and after her death in 2007, Marilyn found 30,000 scam letters at Jessica's home. Marilyn's high-profile Think Jessica campaign led to the Royal Mail destroying scam letters and also intercepting letters containing cash sent by victims to known scammers. According to the National Trading Standards Scams team, the average age of a scam victim is 75. More than half of people 65 and over have been targeted by scammers. People defrauded in their own home are 2.5 times more likely to die or go into residential care within a year. Yet, only 5% of these crimes are reported.
There's no typical victim. We have victims that are retired police officers, that are school teachers, we have doctors. This isn't a case of, the scammers don't have any class distinction. They will go to any, and these aren't stupid people. These are very intelligent people, but the scams are so sophisticated and they're hitting them just at the right time.
For now, Marilyn says there'll always be other potential victims like her mother who need to be educated about how their life can be destroyed by the ruthless criminals who'll stop at nothing to steal your money. David Hurst, ITV News, Chesterfield.
Well, in a separate development, a campaign's just been launched to recruit volunteers to become so-called scam marshals. And now we're joined live from Wakefield by West Yorkshire's Police and Crime Commissioner Mark Burns-Williamson, who's backing the initiative. Mr Burns-Williamson, first of all, can you just explain what's involved in this scheme?
Yeah, good evening. So this is a campaign to get on board volunteers to sign up as scam marshals, and there's a website called Friends of Scams where people can find out more information, but essentially it's about people playing their part in preventing further victims like the ones we've just heard about in your report.
So what we're talking about is these people are preying on some of the most vulnerable in our society. Really, they are scum, not scammers.
Well, yes, that's one description you could use, and it's quite shocking in terms of the figures. As in your report, more than 50% of people over 70 targeted, and that can be through the post, online. And, you know, clearly it's something we have to be very much more aware of, and it's costing the country something like £5 to £10 billion per year, and obviously all the personal impact that has on individual victims and families.
Now, what are these scam marshals actually going to have to do?
Well, as I've said, they can sign up through the Friends of Scams link to the National Trading Standards website, and it's just really collecting or being aware of scams that are being perpetrated not only potentially on themselves but on friends and relatives, and then reporting that in to the National Trading Standards team, who will then deal with that and hopefully prevent further scams from occurring in the future.
Do you think it's really going to make a difference?
I do, yes, because more and more people are have got online accounts, whether that's through social media. We've all pretty much got emails these days, and it's just the way things have changed over time in recent society. So it's really making everyone more vigilant and actually asking volunteers to play their part in that wider fight against those really very unscrupulous people who target vulnerable victims.
OK, well, people can find out more information on postal fraud and the Scam Marshal scheme on our website, itv.com/Canada. Mr Burns Williamson, thank you very much for joining us.